homeowner, a kid, your coworker, anybody is coming by you, blaze off.
For a healthier future together, look to Northside Hospital.
All right, everybody. All right. Hey, everybody, let's settle down a little bit. That includes table 5. Ivy, if you can bring the volume down just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Carter Barrett is in the back getting thirds, but Carter, if you could find your way to your table. We are about to get started with the show. So everybody, welcome. This is a live taping of the real McCoy show presented by Northside Hospital Forsyth and hosted by none other than our president and CEO, James McCoy. So there's a couple of quick ground rules I want to make sure to cover with everybody. If you can pull out your cell phone, make sure that you do have it on silent. You do not want to get tackled by the production crew if your phone does start to ring in the middle of the show. And also, I know there are some elected officials in the room that like to do some table chatter. If you can keep that to a minimum. And anytime we have Lynn Jackson in attendance, we need to make sure that there's no rowdy shouting at the host specifically. So if we can kind of keep all that to a minimum, I would appreciate it. And again, this is a live taping. So whether you agree with what the host says or not, or don't think a joke is funny, we have signs to tell you when it's appropriate to do things. So if you'll see to my right and to my left, when it is time to applause, they will raise a sign. And there is also another sign to let you know when a joke was made, again, whether it was funny or not. So if you could, we'll go ahead and do a little bit of a practice. So if you could, we'll do an applause and see how the room reacts. That was actually better than we thought you were going to do, so I actually have a bunch of bullets to make fun of you guys. But if you could, I know it's because I was on the stage that we got that round of applause. So when James is up here, if you could please make sure that you have the same sort of energy, I would greatly appreciate it. So now that we've got the rules down, we're going to go ahead and get started with our show. So we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3.
Live from Forsyth County, Georgia, and presented by Northside Hospital Forsyth, it's The Real McCoy Show, starring Chamber President and CEO, James McCoy.
Thank you. You're very kind, and I appreciate that. Save that energy because we've got a full program for you today. The show is packed with a lot of folks. That have been involved with the chamber through the years and helped build what we enjoy today. So, as many of you know, especially those of you who have been with us for multiple annual meetings, we love a good theme. So a couple of years ago, we did Star Wars. This last year, we used the theme of the movie Back to the Future. So this year, it lent itself well, and I want to thank the staff because they came up with, hey, let's do a late taping of a late night talk show. Now, what they did not know was how much I loved growing up watching Johnny Carson. I know I'm looking around the room. For those of you who are of a certain age, you can get your phone out now and Google Johnny Carson and look him up. But there used to be one late night show to watch, and it was Johnny Carson. So, and I thought, well, how much fun would that be? How great would that be? You know, even as a kid, I thought, how much fun that Johnny Carson looks like he's having. So I want to thank the team and thank all of y'all for indulging me, because I'm kind of living out a childhood dream, because there's no way I'll ever get a talk show on my own. So thank you for being a part of this. So, as those of you, by the way, who have attended before, I hope you will tell the newbies a little advice, and that is just lean into it. Just lean into the theme. I know it's hokey and a little silly to some, but I guarantee you'll have a great time and enjoy it. So we'll jump in. So it's just like Alex covered a moment ago, we're doing it just like a taping of a show. So when you see the signs to applaud, applaud. When you see the signs to laugh, laugh. Now, you can laugh when the signs aren't up too, and I hope you do. So with that, welcome everyone to the Real McCoy Show, presented by Northside Hospital Forsyth. I'm your host, James McCoy. We're here to have some fun, share some laughs, and celebrate this incredible community. But let's all be honest with one another as we start out. The real reason that so many of you are here is that you get to go have a nice lunch on the company's dime. You get out a little early and skip that 1 p.m. meeting and claim to everybody else back at the office that you were just at that chamber thing all afternoon. Am I right? Very good. But regardless of why you came, I'm genuinely thrilled to have you with us. This isn't really just another chamber event today, because we're celebrating today the powerhouse that is the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. Together, we've built connections, driven innovation, and created opportunities that have made this community stronger, smarter, and more prosperous than ever before. We'll talk about the big wins of the past year, but I also want to take you on a little journey. Over my tenure as your chamber president, I've seen this county transform in ways that are nothing short of remarkable. From attracting world-class businesses to increasing Forsyth County's infrastructure, every success has been because of you, the passionate, driven business leaders in this room. Before we hear from some remarkable guests, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the very important people and organizations who have made today's show and so much more in this community possible. Our sponsors. Our sponsors of today's show include, of course, our title sponsor, Northside Hospital Forsyth, and we'll hear more from Northside in a bit. Our platinum sponsor is Atlanta Landscape Group. Our reception sponsor is Georgia Power. Our gavel sponsor is Renaissance Bank. Our photo booth, which is located in the lobby, I hope you'll take advantage of that. Compliments of Country Inn and Suites. The tasty, tasty dessert you are enjoying is compliments of Financial Group. And the mocktail that you have enjoyed is provided by iSpring Water Filtration. The run of show at your seat is compliments of our friends at United Way. And our supporting sponsors are Los Rios, Andine Chevrolet, University of North Georgia, First Citizens Bank, Beaver Toyota, Peachtree Puttery Social, Forsyth Local, Platinum Air Systems, Car Shield, Eclipse Networks, JW Property Group, Dave Harden State Farm Agency, Duffy Southeast, Science Co., Forsyth County News, Citizens Bank, Encompass Health, and Pinnacle Financial Partners. Let's give a huge round of applause. Your generosity and commitment fuel the Chamber's initiatives and help us create opportunities that benefit everyone in Forsyth County. So this show has always allotted us time to reflect on how far we've come. Since the founding of this organization in 1954, the Forsyth County Chamber has been a driver of growth, prosperity, and collaboration in our community. The Chamber, though relatively small, can achieve success only with the trust, support, and true collaboration alongside our partners. As business leaders, we should all be grateful for the intentional spirit of our local leaders. And I'd like to especially recognize and thank those of you who are joining us today. I'll start with Representative Carter Barrett. Thank you for being with us. I think Rick Jaspers is here somewhere, Chair of the House Transportation Committee. Chair of the Forsyth County Board of Education, Mike Valdez. Mike, thank you for being with us, along with Board of Education members, Chris Grimes, Tricia Hoyes, and Dorian Usherwood. Forsyth County School Superintendent Mitch Young, thank you for being with us, and representing Senator John Ossoff, Alex White. Thank you for your dedication and service to our community and all the great things that you do to make this a great place to be. So, there are also some very special VIPs to me. My family, they are the real McCoys, are here. My mom and dad, Terry and Susie, my aunt and cousin, Ann and Kimberly, and my grandmother, my Nana, got to come today. And so, thank you. And so, yes. So, my grandmother remarried after my grandfather passed away many years ago, and her husband, Art, is here. But I like to call him Big Daddy. So, Big Daddy, thank you for coming. We're glad you're here. So many of you know that I have been involved with Mentor Me North Georgia for many years, and I think it was 16 or 17 years ago, I was introduced to a young man named Dylan. And he and I have really become family, and his sister, Emma, and they were able to join us today. Dylan, Emma, thank you very much for being here. Y'all are awesome. And my beautiful and talented wife, Melanie, is working in Tampa right now. She is working with the Tampa Opera Company. They have opening night of Candide tonight, so we couldn't figure out how to get her here and back. But she is watching online, and babe, I hope everything goes great tonight for you, and I know it's going to be a great show for you. So, we are streaming live, and so that everybody in here is aware. I'm sure we're going to be joined by tens of people. So hello, thanks for joining us online. All right, now let's thank all of our special guests for joining us today. So our first guest has been at the forefront of cultivating beauty and functionality in residential and commercial properties. Atlanta Landscape Group, or ALG, is one of the region's largest leading commercial landscaping firms. Specializing in both maintenance and installation, they pride themselves on their focus to be more than just another landscaper, but to be a true partner by emphasizing exceptional communication and service. Their goals are simple: build partnerships, positively impact the community, and through those, most importantly, glorify God. Please welcome Brett Russell, President of ALG, for our Platinum Sponsor Award. Try it again, Brett.
Trying again.
There you go.
All right. And
awesome.
we're live.
Well, very good. Let me get my technology sorted. Well, thank you, Brett, for being with us. So, Brett, if you will, tell us a little bit about Atlanta Landscape Group and how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah, so Atlanta Landscape Group has evolved over the years by first and foremost starting off from Bob Russell, my father and original founder and CEO. And he built Atlanta Landscape Group through his years of experience being in the landscape industry. So that's where we started, right? And it's evolved over the years by continuing to focus on really important things such as relationships, focusing on people, the community, building partnerships that really last for a long time. Because we can't do this without our people, and that also includes the people who work with us in the business. So it's always that has remained consistent throughout our entire year. And the evolution of that is, well, as you know, there's new technologies and things like that we've had to change how we do things. So as Bob always likes to stay in the Flintstone age of printing off paper and spending countless dollars on ink, we've moved a lot of our stuff over to more technological approaches.
Awesome. So, there's a lot of landscape groups out there. So what makes you guys different? What sets you apart?
So for us at ALG, it's really important for us, like I said, relationships. So what really sets us apart is, everybody can cut grass, but we don't want to be known as just another company that just goes out there and just mow logos. We want to be known as a partner. So all of the things that we do, the core values that we live by in our company, is specifically designed to where, when you think of our name, you think of they've got my back and I don't have to hold their hand. So that's what sets us apart.
ALG is deeply involved in the community. Can you talk about some ways that you and your team give back?
So, like I said, relationships, right? Partnerships. So community is important to us, and we've been involved in this specific community for many years. So Bob's been involved in a lot of different things, different committees, the board, the chamber itself, and many other things inside of that. I, since taking over the business from there, have been involved in a variety of different committees where we talk about the workforce. We talk about making sure that there's jobs out there and how to connect people to those jobs, and improving that, and looking at economic development and the things that are really impactful to the community. One of those being impact fees. That's a discussion that's been going on, right? So being a part of that and being engaged and trying to add value to that, going and talking to high schoolers and telling them from a young professional's point of view how they can continue to improve themselves and be more recognized to get better jobs. So just being engaged is important, and I think that's a very heavy driver of that.
So ALG, for those of you that may not know, has been certainly a long time supporter of the but specifically of this event. I mean, I don't know how many years y'all have been a platinum sponsor, but it's been a very, very long time. And I know, for many years, your dad, Bob Russell, he was the show at the annual meeting. His sponsor remarks were phenomenal, and some of my favorite moments of the chamber, period, are Bob Russell at the lectern at our annual meeting. And Bob, thank you, and thank you for being here. We're really appreciate that. So, would you mind talking about that legacy of support for the organization and for the event?
Yeah. So, the support from our company to the chamber has always been very important, because the purpose of the chamber, right, you've talked about many times, is being a community partner in driving better economic development, bringing business, talking about business, championing business, and doing all of those things to drive more business. So it's important that why just try to come here and do business and not be a part of a bigger purpose? So it's important that we do that, and we've done those things and been a part of that through all these years, through all the things that I just talked about prior with the different committees and engagements and things like that. Bob has really championed that for our business for all of those years, because that's where it all started, is for us, him and his engagement and the values that he's instilled in our company and me. I wouldn't be where I am today, and I'm sure that other people would be in the same boat, because you do what you say you're going to do, you have values, you treat people like people, and you focus on people, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Well, I can't thank you enough for your support. I'm pretty sure we've got a little video from Bob.
Yep. So one last thing, a little announcement per se. This morning we actually signed a lease for a new location. And we've talked about trying to open up a new location, expand. So we're super excited to continue that development. We talked about we want to be engaged in the community. So we're signing a lease. Well, we signed one this morning to open up a new location in the county, and that will allow us to continue and make a positive impact. But to your point, James, you're right. You never know what's going to come out of Bob's mouth. So to that point, we do have a video of some entertainment for you.
You don't ask me about James McCoy? Well, this is what I know. When he was a baby, Lynn Jackson found him floating in the river, the Chattahoochee River, that is, and therefore raised him up. And then he became like Moses, a great leader. And then he chose it. He left this chamber out of bondage. And so, for a course of time, success. And he led his people. And now his next chapter of life is moving on. Like Joe Dirt, let's go find your sister.
Thanks for all you do, James. Thanks for all you did. Thanks for all you're about to do. You'll be sadly missed. Who was best the best.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is proof that some elements of the chamber programs will just never change. So, Bob, thank you. Thank you, Brett, Bob, and all of Atlanta Landscape Group for your support of today's show. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, our next guests are prime examples of leaders in the Forsyth County business community. Please join me in welcoming the Chamber's 2024 Chair Steve Cooper and 2025 Board Chair Jan Rooney. All right, thank you all. So, Steve, let's start with you. I mean, this has been an interesting year to say the least, and you were an incredibly present and thoughtful board chair, and involved in really all aspects of what we were doing as an organization. And when you look back at 2024, what are you most proud of about what was accomplished last year?
Well, thank you, James. You know, James, I was so glad to see us finally get to increase visitor investment in our community, similar to how our neighbors have been operating for some time. The Chamber Board worked on this tourism development enhancement for many years, and I was excited to see these efforts finally come to fruition. I was also proud to see the campaign that our Chamber launched, educating our residents on the importance of SPLOST funding, resulting in the renewal of SPLOST for our community.
Thank you so much. So, Jan, thank you for being here, and I know that this year is going to look a bit different than you thought it would a couple of years ago when you signed up to be our second chair-elect and join the executive committee. So, looking ahead, what's your priorities for 2025?
Well, gosh, James, you sure are right about that. When I first took over as chamber chair, accepted the position, a few past chairs came to me and said, half jokingly, and warned me, like, hey, you need to be prepared for this question. What if James gets hit by a bus? Well, when you shared that you were leaving, it really felt like it for me. And I know that that may sound dramatic, but I was very much looking forward to working alongside you. I want to publicly tell you how much I respect you, how much I have enjoyed your leadership, and how much and my team over there will appreciate this, how much I appreciate your ability to get things done. So, it is my privilege to be your last chair, even though it's only 59 days. But I have learned so much from you and feel fortunate to call you my friend. So yes, this year is already looking different than my original expectations. But I now see clearly that while you won't be at the helm, you have solidified for all of us the Chamber's values of excellence, respect, stewardship, innovation, and free enterprise. My hope for this year is that we keep these values at the forefront of all that we do so that the Chamber will continue to do what you have always led us to do, create prosperity for Forsyth County.
Thank you for that, Jan. So, I'm just so grateful to the both of you for your support of the chamber, your support of me. And yes, you are both great friends, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Jan, I believe you have something to add to today's episode.
Why, yes, I do, and thank you. So, James, you mentioned all the time Steve put into his year as chamber board chair, and we're lucky to have such a dedicated chair of the board this past year. And Steve, your dedication to the chamber set quite the standard for future board chairs. So I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know that I'll live up to that, but I will try really hard. And it's true, and it's a true honor to present you with this gavel, courtesy of Chamber-elect Chris Braun's Renaissance Ring.
Commercial break, and we'll be right back after that.
On behalf of Sony EMC, congratulations, James. Over the years, you've not only helped transform the chamber, but also the county. We hate to see you move on, but please know that you leave a lasting legacy. The chamber has seen significant growth, and you've been a big part of that. You've created a great business environment, and you have driven economic development within the county. My time on the chamber board allowed me to see firsthand how well you work with others and how you're able to work through issues, both big and small, and find solutions. Congratulations again on 2 decades of leadership with the chamber, and know that you will be missed.
I took the liberty of going to LinkedIn, and I looked up what you said to describe your role. I just want to read the first sentence. It says, and I quote, "I help our community achieve a vision of success and prosperity by engaging business leaders, residents, and civic leaders to collaborate in creating sustainable and equitable economic growth." You have done that, and some. And I will tell you that I saw another quote, not from you, but this one was prophetic in my opinion. And it said, "You cannot be a change agent if you are not in the room." James McCoy, sir, you have been in the room. Thank you for everything that you've done. Good luck.
I first met James in 2013 when he helped me and others form the Peachtree Parkland Improvement District to clean up and landscape the medians on 141 in South Forsyth. You cannot drive anywhere in our county without seeing something wonderful that James has played a part in. The South Forsyth CID and the beautiful landscaping they have done around Exit 12 were made possible by James' leadership to help make CIDs a reality in Forsyth County. In addition to beautification projects, James' team at the Chamber worked with developers to build millions of square feet of office space, which helps balance the tax digest and keep recipients working locally. By far my favorite project working with James was his leadership in getting the 2014 transportation bond pass. Within a month of its passage, we began widening Georgia 400 with lanes 5 and 6. While 2014 may seem like a long time ago, the Exit 18 overpass and the widening of Ronald Reagan were all 2014 transportation bond projects. While we are sad to see James move on, we are all grateful that he has hired, mentored, and trained some amazing people who work at our chamber. Thanks to his vision, leadership, and perseverance, Forsyth County's star will continue to shine brightly. Thank you, James.
All right, everybody. Hey, I just got a couple of notes before we get back from commercial break. You guys are doing a great job following the cue cards. Definitely appreciate it. But really, the applause that we're going after is the one that James's Nana got. So if you can keep that energy That's the one that we're searching for. So if you could, we're going to go back to the show, but keep that level of energy that we gave to Nana. So,
Our next guest is a 42-year retired veteran of Georgia Power Company and former chair, Forsyth County Development Authority, and board chair for the Chamber in 2012. He had a big hand in building economic development at the Chamber and in Forsyth County, and he is a damn fine American. Please join me in welcoming David Seago. Thank you, David.
James, thank you for having me. And I know this is a big day for you, but I've just realized this is a low point in my life. Through my career with Georgia Power, I got to be introduced a lot to groups and make comments. This is the first time the audience had to be told to applause.
we don't like leaving anything to you.
I get it.
Nothing to you.
I get it.
So, David, you've been engaged in economic development in communities really all over the region. You were deeply involved in the very early days of economic development for Forsyth County. So what makes Forsyth County unique?
Well, there are several things, and I'm just going to mention two or three of them today. And I have to start with the school system. When people think of Forsyth County school systems, they think first class, world class, first class. It's been that way from the minute I lived in Forsyth County. I lived here for 20 years, but that's really what people talk about first when they talk about Forsyth County. And it doesn't matter if you change school board members. It doesn't matter if you change superintendents. This school system keeps a attitude of excellence throughout it all, and it's proud to be a part of it. So, and the other thing that follows that, of course, is a well-educated workforce. High graduation rate, great high schools, great technical school. It creates the workforce that you want. Your only problem is, as a chamber, is you got to keep them here, and you do that through your business development. The other thing is low taxes, and of course everybody's got an opinion whether or not your taxes are low, but the reputation for Forsyth County is low taxes. It always has been. But we all know too it takes money to move forward, and it takes responsible government to efficiently spend that money. So outside, I can speak for outside Forsyth County. I've worked all over Atlanta through my career. The reputation here is low taxes, and there's a reason for it. You know how to spend your money. The other is this community has high expectations. They demand the best. I don't think anybody stays in Forsyth or moves to Forsyth to stay status quo. When they get here, they see what a machine is here, and they want to see it go forward. So we just have a great attitude. The community is willing to make an investment. I put on my note, the first thing I put on was they support SPLOST. Well, I have a little nightmare about that one. SPLOST many years ago, but we made it by 2 points, I think. That's right. But we made it. So that one still gives me some wake-up nightmares. But we support SPLOST, we support our elected officials, and we support new business as the chamber does. And then, of course, the infrastructure. We have through business expansion and the SPLOST, and really, I guess there's just an aura here in Forsyth County to move forward. I got it from the day I started working here. It's just something that speaks first class. Nobody wants to stay still here, wants to move forward.
Yep. So you were there in the very early days of first the creation of Business First that became Ascend Forsyth, which is a private funding mechanism to drive economic development, and then, of course, the very beginning of Forward Forsyth. And there's a handful of you in the room. I know I saw Larry Duckworth. He's out there somewhere. He's part of that group back in the day to help get Forward Forsyth going, which became the Economic Development Partnership for the county. And you and Georgia Power have been a huge, huge part of the approach we've had with economic development and the kind of work that we've done. When you think about the creation of economic development and the creation of Forward Forsyth, what stands out most to you?
Well, as far as I know, Business First was the real first effort to do that. There may have been something before that, but that's the first thing that I was involved in. And it was bringing leaders to the table to fund some really important initiatives like the creation of the South Forsyth CID, campaign to get Georgia 400 widened, and to take on the unbalanced tax. So that took quite an education. I remember that one. You spent a lot of time trying to educate the citizens of Forsyth County about the taxes and what is paid for and what costs more. So that was a great education process. I think when we first started this process, since it was new in Forsyth, I don't think everybody was sold on it. I know after seeing what Forsyth was about, and I've seen some great communities in Metro Atlanta, but once I saw what Forsyth is, I said the same thing. Well, why do you need this? You're number one. But we figured it out pretty quick that we did need it, and we had some great again our education process, and we decided to have a move forward attitude. Of course, that led to the next thing, large scale economic development plan, TIP strategies out of Texas, and their analysis. I guess a lot of people here still remember that and actually read that whole report because it was very fascinating, but I don't think everybody was sold on that. We had lots of discussion about everything that was in there, but I'm really proud of the way this community came together and we set priorities. We figured out the parts of that plan that were practical and that were doable because it was a lot. It was a lot to say, this is what you need to do. It was very overwhelming, but I really like the way that we moved forward, and we picked and chose a little bit. It called for projects like the Gathering at South Forsyth, encourages community support projects like the Coal Mountain Town Center. I saw Cindy Mills here somewhere. Thank you so much. And that was not only the development of a project, it was the beginning of a movement, and that was very, very important for this community to do. So, everything. It took time. It took money. It took a lot of discussion, but we moved forward.
Very good. So, David, you did a lot of important things in those early years, and you and Georgia Power Support was critical. But the most important thing that you did, at least in my view, is that you taught this community and you taught me how true economic development operates, what we should expect, and that we shouldn't shoot low. So those expectations that you helped set a long time ago have carried us through the next 20 years. And you were always a great mentor and coach and great friend and champion for me, and I thank you so much.
Well, I thank you for what. Thank you. I thank you for what you've done because it wasn't always easy, and you're not so hard to teach easy to teach yourself. So
there are people sitting at table 9 that would totally agree with that.
But you stayed on the course. You never retreated from the mission, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you, David. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Good afternoon. My name is Bruce Hagedall. I had the opportunity and the honor to serve as chairman of the Forsyth County Chamber in 2016. 2 projects come to mind from that year. The first is the South Forsyth Community Improvement District. This project required a lot of heavy lifting from James McCoy, and I had the opportunity to watch him navigate these waters and with great skillfulness and dedication bring that project home. It really reminded me very much of a time that I went fly fishing with James in North Georgia. James was up to his waist in fast-flowing, ice-cold North Georgia water with a trophy trout on the end of his fly line. My role was to stand in the water next to him, observe, and to be his net man to help net that trout when he got it to the bank, which he successfully did. James, I'll be your net man anytime. The second project is one that's near and dear to my heart. I spent my career mostly in manufacturing. 32 years of that was turning around a bankrupt manufacturing company here in Forsyth County to the point that we received recognition by Governor Deal in 2018 as a manufacturer of the year. During my manufacturing career, I had a chance to serve both the state and the national level in manufacturing organizations and associations. And the purpose of these was to develop and support the growth of manufacturing in all of its phases, including the education of students to be able to enter the manufacturing industry. So James put in the resources, and we started the Manufacturing Society of Forsyth County. That's still very near and dear to my heart today. So both the CID and the Manufacturing Society will continue to pay dividends to not only the business community, but the broader community in Forsyth County. James, it was a blessing to be able to work with you. I know that your day-to-day leadership will be missed at the Chamber, and we all wish you the best. Thank you for everything you've done.
Well, James, I don't know about you, but the economic development segment is always the best segment of the Real McCoy Show. So, but that's enough about me. We'll turn the show back over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, James McCoy, we're going live in 5, 4.
All right, y'all, settle down because class is in session. Our next segment will dive into what makes Forsyth County's education system absolutely top of the class. Dr. Jeff Bearden is a nationally recognized school superintendent. He served as superintendent for Forsyth County Schools for a decade, from 2014 to 2024. Dr. Bearden took our school system from being the best in Georgia to being among the very best in this nation. He is a world-class leader and also a damn fine American. Jeff Bearden.
Applause for James' suit. Looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. Twin day.
So this has happened many times.
It has, yes.
And we agreed before the show started that it's really not our fault. Men have really basically two options, so that's how it goes. It's gray or blue. So Jeff, you know, the Chamber and schools have a very long-standing relationship, going back well before the two of us. But you have really helped deepen that relationship with the business community and in an important way. Why, in your view, is business and the business community so important in that relationship for the schools?
Great. I'll be happy to answer that question. But before I do, I want to thank David for the nice things you said about Forsyth County Schools. But I take exception to your comment about, the next superintendent doesn't matter. On who the next superintendent is. I'm not sure why you said that. I thought we were friends for many years, but I'm just kidding. To your question, James, there's no doubt having great public schools is an economic driver. There is no question about that. Many people move to our community because of the school system. In fact, I would ask that question right now. How many of you moved to Forsyth County because of the reputation of Forsyth County schools? Right, and thank you for that. When I arrived here in 2014, we were serving approximately 40,000 students. Today, we serve more than 54,000 students. That is exceptional growth. That does not happen without great partnerships in our community. And the partnership between Forsyth County Schools and the Chamber of Commerce is second to none. Because with all that growth, obviously, we need new facilities for our students. In our community, in my 10 years, passed 2 bonds, $500 million worth of spending, and has passed the SPLOS each year that has been an opportunity for you to vote on. And we could not serve our students without that. And those things would not have happened without the support of the Chamber. Another program I look at the Alliance Academy for Innovation. That would not have happened without the support of the Chamber of Commerce and business leaders in our community who saw a need to create a specialty school that was going to address the labor issues not only in our county and our state, but throughout the nation. And that's another great example of partnerships in Forsyth County. So again, if you're going to have economic prosperity, public schools plays a huge part in that, and it's a win-win for everybody to work together.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Jeff, I know you would be the first to say that we have been, extremely fortunate as a community to have a long-standing great Board of Education members and serving Forsyth County and the school system. But we have three Board of Education members that are not continuing on in their service this year, and all with very little time of service. And I want to make sure that we recognize those folks for their service. First, I want to recognize Lindsay Adams. She couldn't be here today. She had a conflict. But Lindsay was elected in 2020 to the Forsyth County School Board. Lindsay was a very thoughtful and diligent member of the Board of Education. Her priorities were to make sure that schools were safe and a nurturing environment for students, and that our educators had the support and resources to deliver a great education to students. I don't think you can ask much more than that from a great board member. We have a little token of our thanks that we will get to her after the program. But let's go ahead and thank Lindsay Adams for her service. We are joined today by Tom Cleveland, who's with us. Tom, if you don't mind, just stand so that everybody can see it. Tom was elected to the Board of, Tom was elected to the Board of Education in 2004, and during Tom's time on the board, our school system rocketed to be a nationally top-performing school system. Also during Tom's time in office, the school system doubled in size, but still maintained the lowest millage rate in the region. Tom helped establish the Forsyth County School Foundation, and to be candid, in the 20 years of office, the accomplishments are simply too many to share here. But please join me in thanking Tom for remarkable investment in our community. We really appreciate it. And our great friend Darla Light was elected to the Board of Education. Darla, if you don't mind, stand up. Thank you. Darla was elected to the Board of Education in 2008. She served as chair several times during her tenure on the board. She helped lead the Board of Education through some huge transitions, from helping to guide our schools through the chaos of COVID-19, guiding us through new superintendent leadership, to a huge expansion of our schools to meet the demands of a growing community. Darla was a big champion of East Forsyth High School that was very important to our community. Please join me in thanking Darla Light for her service to our students. And Jeff Bearden, you are just one of the most remarkable leaders I have ever known. You're fearless, you're caring, and you're thoughtful. You did hundreds of things to improve our schools, but the greatest test of a leader is, and I doubt that there's a 3-ring binder somewhere at the school system that you can open up that says what to do in a global pandemic. But you hit it out of the park. While others were flailing about, you jumped in and had a plan that folks could get on board with and manage. We had remarkable schools when you got on board 10 years ago, and now our schools are truly world-class and get national recognition. It has been an honor to work with you over the years. I have learned so much from you about leadership and about caring for others and how to lead. I want to make it more formal, though, by presenting you with something on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Chamber, the Spirit of Forsyth Award. Whew.
First of all, thank you for that. I'm not sure how many superintendents get an ovation, so I really do appreciate it. But I would be remiss if I didn't recognize 2 of our 3 new board members are in the House this afternoon. I want to congratulate Chris and Tricia, and thank you for your service to our community. Dorian is not here, but you have a brand new board, 3 new board members. That's a huge change for Forsyth County Schools. And let me also recognize our new superintendent. I've had the privilege to work with Mitch Young for 10 years. When I arrived, he was the principal at Forsyth Central High School, and I knew immediately what a talented, creative, educator he was. When he started as principal at Forsyth Central High School, and I tell this to everybody I have the opportunity to, the graduation rate at Central was 83%. And my first conversation with Mitch was, what are we going to do about that? Because every other high school was above 90. When he was finished at Forsyth Central High School 7 years later, Central had a graduation rate of 95%. That's leadership. And I am so proud and so thankful that our Board of Education selected him to be our new superintendent. He's doing an outstanding job already, and he will continue to lead this school district to be the very best in the state and in the nation. So congratulations, and thank you, Mitch. Thanks, James.
All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
I'm Paul Chambers, and before retiring 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to serve on the Chamber of Commerce board with James McCoy for more than 15 years. And one thing you knew about James is you were going to have fun. You came to a meeting, he always brought wit and humor. That always made it enjoyable to go to the meetings and different events. James had a tremendous depth of knowledge of the community, all aspects of it, not just the business community, but government, as well as the nonprofit community. In fact, that's the thing that maybe stands out the most to me about him, was that he not only represented economic development and the growth of Forsyth County in a good, responsible way, but he also championed causes like mentoring and the nonprofits in Forsyth County that made it such a great place to live and work. So I always be thankful for his accessibility, his willingness to give me advice, and steer me in the right direction, and wish him all the very best in his next stage of life.
Congratulations, James. We are so proud of you. Thank you so much for always being there for us and always having our backs no matter what. We are so thankful to have you in our lives. You're not just a friend, you're family. And you also are one of the best singers I know, and you tell the best jokes.
That's questionable, but thank you so much for being such a great mentor over the years. You've been the teacher and the example in my life that I never would have had otherwise. And for that, I will always be grateful. And thank you for everything. We'll always appreciate it.
We love you.
How's everybody doing? You enjoying the show so far? All right. Carter, are you crying or are you sleeping? Because there's no sleeping in a live taping, sir, but tears are okay. Good deal, good deal. Well, we're going to get back to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We're back live in 5, 4.
All right, we have two very special guests with us next. Our next guest likely needs no introduction. She has been a key driver of building a better Forsyth County for decades and has been involved in the creation of many local nonprofits and has been a champion of our incredible parks and a longtime board member for the Forsyth County Public Library, helping to lead an impressive expansion over the years. She served as Chamber Board Chair in 1998 and is also a damn fine American. Mary Helen Magruder, thank you. Thank you. And joining us is a true visionary in the hospitality industry in the region. She and her family have had a huge impact on food and beverage culture of our area. Join me in welcoming Lisa Tanner Wall with Cherry Street Brewing Company. Chair is going to slide right out from under me. I know it's going to happen. Well, thank you both very much for joining us. So, tourism development has been a part of the Chamber for at least 30 years, maybe it goes back further than that. And I know when I arrived 20 years ago, we had 3 hotels in the county, and tourism was really just completely driven by volunteers. Chief among those volunteers was Mary Helen Magruder. And Mary Helen, take us back 20 years ago. What was tourism development like in Forsyth County, and how have you seen it?
First of all, James, I want to thank you for allowing me to be up here on your show, because I've been a part of your show for the last 20 years. It just hasn't been on stage.
Yes, you have.
So thank you for including me today in this. So When you got here, it was volunteer driven because we really didn't have anything here. It really didn't matter. We started trying to decide what we were going to be because we knew we'd grow up someday. You realized that we had some opportunities here. We just had to find an identity. So you brought in Pam Bowman, who started trying to figure out what we had here and who we were. We tried to find a name for ourselves. We joined the Hospitality Highway. The only thing we came up with was, it's near here, or we're in the middle. Both of those really don't work as tourism logos. So, you came up with the great plan to hire our very first professional tourism director. And we emphasized what we were strong for in Forsyth County at that time, which was Park and Rec. We had baseball fields, and baseball was beginning to come to the forefront as the travel sport, and our director brought great teams here. They filled up our hotels. Other hotels figured it out. They came. And so you had the vision to hire the first person who knew what they were doing, as opposed to those of us who just could only come up with, it's near here. So thank you for all you've done for tourism. You got us started.
Well, thank you, Mary Helen, very much. So, Elisa, you've been involved in tourism development for several years, and you've been a big part of something new and exciting that we have been working on. So we're going from 20 years ago to now very recently, this past year. So the Forsyth County Poor Tour. What is that, and how can we get involved?
All right. We are very excited that we just launched the Poor Tour last fall. Basically, it's bringing community, business, craft, and beverage together, and it's showcasing the wonderful craft beverage world that we have in Forsyth County. As being the entrepreneur with the beer industry in Forsyth County, my brother and business partner, Nick, he worked directly with the commissioners to allow breweries to be in the county. It took years to work through that, and so pioneering the Poor Tour with the tourism director and the chamber has been beautiful. But essentially what it is members buy into the tour, and with buying into the tour, then they get member perks at each of the partners and the different groups that are in this together. And I want to thank our partners, Crooked Culture, Freedom Mill, NoFo, and Legends Distillery, and of course me from Cherry Street.
Very good. Well, thank you. That is something, and by the way, if you want to participate in something tourism related, how much fun could that be? That's awesome. Thank you for that, and thank you for your leadership on that as well. And thank you and your family, y'all, for the investment that you have made in this community. You have been part of what is a big part of what has completely transformed the culture of our community. We really appreciate it. Mary Helen, you are an example for everyone of what it means to be a community leader, philanthropist, and advocate. You've been a great mentor and friend, and yes, a part of the James McCoy, pretty much day one. We certainly would not have the productivity and outcomes in this organization without your thoughtful guidance and leadership. I am very grateful to you. Thank you.
Hey, James, just want to take a moment to congratulate you on a well-deserved retirement and reflect a little bit about what you mean to me. You know, in 2010, you hired me as a director of small business services, and in over 6.5 years working with you, I learned what a chamber can do for its members and what it can do for its community as a whole. You know, I remember sitting in your office one day, and you asked me, Jason, where do you see yourself in a few years? And I said, hey, I see myself in your seat one day, James. And you jokingly, with a James McCoy fashion response, said, well, hey, that seat's taken. But what you did at that moment is you helped me, you guided me, and you set me up on a path of success. And in fact, you allowed me the opportunity to lead. You gave me the opportunity to take on challenges and new roles, which led me to take on the role of leading the San Marcos Area Chamber. And now here at the Greater Dalton Chamber, back home in Georgia, leading it. You know, I always will be grateful for your service and what you have done for me during my career. You've been a friend, someone I can call on, someone I can have confidence in, and relying on. And I thank you for all that.
Hey James, it's Randall Toussaint. Just wanted to give you a quick video message to congratulate you on this exciting milestone. You have played such a huge role in the community and you've helped mentor so many great professionals along the way. Just so thrilled for you and wishing you and the family the best. Take care.
James McCoy, my friend and mentor, I am so happy for you and so happy for the next stage in your life. 20 years in Forsyth County is such an accomplishment. You've impacted so many lives. You know, in 2009, you gave a shot to a young 26-year-old who really didn't know what he was doing or where he was going, and I am forever grateful for the opportunity that you gave to me. I think one of the things that you are gifted in is seeing greatness in people, success in people before the world can, and even before they even can see it in themselves. And you always took your staff and put them in positions to be great and to do great things and to be successful. And now 16 years later, I sit before you as the president and CEO of a very respected and impactful chamber in a community in Central Florida. And without you and without our time together, that would have never happened. We had a former employee one time say that the problem with the good old days is that you never know that they're the good old days until they're gone. And I will say that some of the best days, not only in my career, but in my life, were spent with you in Forsyth County, in that old building on Kelly Mill Road, just brainstorming and dreaming about the future and what we could be and what we could do. You will always be a friend of mine. I hope that I make you proud. And every day I think about what would James McCoy do in this situation. Congratulations to you. I know you are surrounded by people that love you dearly, and I hope that today is special for you.
Oh, Beth, before you get off the stage, because we need to have a conversation, Beth, before you get off the stage, Beth, but that's cool. We'll have one while you're running off the stage. We need to have a conversation with the advertising team about who we're selling commercials to. The guy that was pushing James into retirement, I think trying to sell some Balance of Nature pills to him, I don't know. And then I haven't seen a hair gel commercial since the early 2000s, but we just had one of those. We got to step it up next time. This can't be a reoccurring thing. But guys, I apologize. We'll get it fixed in the next segment. So we're going to go back live in 5, 4, 3.
So I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to meet Jason Mott. Some of you may remember Jason when he was on our team. He left the chamber to go run the San Marcos chamber in Texas, which is a very fast-growing community, phenomenal work he did there, and now is back in Georgia and is president of the Dalton Chamber, and was able to get the Dalton Chamber helicopter free today to fly down here and visit with us. Jason, thank you so much for being with us. I also have a question. You said a couple of times that I was retiring. How old do you think I am? Well, Jason, thank you very much for being here. You've done some great work, and I really appreciate it, so thank you. All right, well, welcome back. Our next guest was chair. Now, we have 2 guests coming up, but our next guest was chair of the Chamber Board back in 2009. He was hugely influential in the Chamber's leadership in key transportation infrastructure development projects like the widening of Georgia 400, the completion of Ronald Reagan Parkway, and the Education SPLOST campaigns. He served as the president of Cardinal Logistics for many years. He is a great friend of mine and also a damn fine American. Jerry Bowman. The other half of this dynamic duo is serving in his second term in the Georgia State House of Representatives and served on the Chamber Board for many years, well before I came on board. He was chair of a successful and very important Education SPLOST campaign, and was co-chair of the Envision 2030 back in 2006. He was a founder of Community Business Bank and has a long and successful career in banking. Also, damn fine American, Carter Barrett, come on out. There you go, microphone. So, gentlemen, thank you, very much for joining us. I appreciate you both more than I can say. Jerry, I'm going to start with you. Roads, highways, infrastructure was always very important to you in your role at the Chamber. You served on the GRTA, the Georgia Regional Transit Authority Board, for many years, representing our community. So why is the Chamber an organization that should care about transportation and lead transportation issues?
First of all, I'm shocked after all these years, knowing me as you do, you're trusting me with a microphone. Now, I want to say before I answer your question, which I will get around to, I promise. There was a time before James, a long time ago, and several of us were on the search committee to find a new president for the Chamber. Myself, Lynn, I think Pam Sessions, Andy Walker, and we kept interviewing people, and James was one of those candidates. And James was a great candidate, except he was so young, And I remember Andy went to visit with his parents to talk about James, because we really like James, but we're concerned because he's so young. And he asked Terry, he said, Terry, what do you think about James as a candidate for president of the Chamber? And Terry said, well, what does he have to do? And Andy went through all of it, and basically, in Andy's description of it, it was he's going to have to talk to a lot of people. And Terry kind of shook his head and said, yeah, well, he's pretty well not stopped talking since he learned how, so he ought to be pretty good at that. And I guess that serves you pretty well. I never thought at that time, and I doubt if Lynn did either, that your swan song would be an event like this, given where the Chamber was in those days. And there's a lot to be said about that lies at the feet and the handiwork of you. You've been a great leader, been a great representative of the business community. You've been a great friend to a lot of us, including me, which I treasure. My only question for you at this point in time is, what dirt do you have on Jen Rooney to get her to say things like she said about you? Yeah. You had a question, I forget what it was.
So, you're a transportation guy. You have been a huge champion of transportation and the Chamber's role in transportation. So, from your experience and what you've seen, why is the Chamber such an important entity to be entrusted with being a champion of transportation?
Business doesn't work without transportation, whether you have products and goods that you're selling, or you've got customers that are trying to get to your place of business, or employees, and the support to improve that infrastructure over the years has really been led by the Chamber. All the SPLOST initiatives, the transportation bond that we passed in 2014, I think, which was a $200 million bond that led to a lot of improvements, including additional lanes on Georgia 400. And the Chamber, under your leadership, has been at the helm, at the leading edge of that, and I think that's been important. It's unfortunate that the most recent T-SPLOST didn't pass, but hopefully we'll get a chance to take another run at that again one time soon and get it passed the next time.
Very good. So the work of transportation, of course, and Jerry knows this better than anybody, it's a team sport, and there's a lot of people in different seats. And Commissioner Cindy Mills has been a tireless advocate of transportation development. Even before she was elected to the Board of Commissioners, Cindy of course, stepped down after 3 remarkable terms in office. Cindy is a past executive committee member of the Chamber. She certainly advanced this community's transportation initiatives for all of us. But she's also a champion of the new Cold Mountain Town Center development, which is fantastic, coming up very soon. And she is a strong voice and advocate for mental health and addiction recovery. Cindy has been a great friend and advocate for the business community, and we need to thank and recognize Cindy Mills for her remarkable service for Forsyth County. Cindy, we love you, and looking forward to great things ahead. So thank you for all you've done. Let's jump to Carter Barrett. Carter, you have been involved in so many chamber initiatives. You co-chair the Envision 2030 plan, and that was a long time ago. And we're barreling down now on 2030 now pretty quickly. So maybe for folks that weren't around years ago, what was Envision 2030, and how's it working?
Well, before I answer that question, I will say that when James first came here, I remember a previous chamber president that was here for about a minute and a half, and we went for a ride around the county, and as I was a young banker taking the tour, and I got out of his car, and I was completely covered in dog hair. So I thought, well, this guy will probably be better than that.
And I will tell you, he absolutely told me that story. And for 20 years, because I have a yellow lab, we're not going to say it, for 20 years I have successfully not had Carter Barrett in my car. That is no joke. That's absolutely, every time I try to figure out, well, maybe he could ride with Alex, you know. I don't just want to let you down, Carter.
Thank you, sir. You did a great job. So Envision 2030. It was an initiative that we took on at the Chamber of Commerce back in 2006. Pam Bowman was the chairperson at the time. James was a driving force behind it. And I think that the general consensus was, if you don't know where you're going, pretty much any road will do. And so we thought, what do we need to do as a community to figure out how do we custom design the community we want? When I first came to Forsyth County in 1990, we only had 45,000 people here, and there was nothing here that you see today, hardly. We had just built South Forsyth High School. That was our second high school, and that was it. And the place is a totally different place today. But back then, in 2006, we said, where are we trying to go as a community? How do we custom design the community we want? And that was James's vision and the board of directors' vision. And I was just a young guy that was trying to add some value along the way. And I was honored to get to co-chair that initiative. But what we did is, over a year-long period, we went out and had meetings like this all over the community. We had probably 1,500 people come to these different meetings. And we just talked about the future of the county, what's important to us: infrastructure, transportation, education, and let's reverse the order. Education first, then infrastructure and other things. But out of that year-long effort, we boiled down we had reached a consensus of some of the big overarching themes we wanted to accomplish in this county. The irony is, I ran a campaign this year, and strangely, I stumbled across the Envision 2030 draft report that was presented May 1st of 2007. And I thought, hot diggity dog, I'm going to be able to run on that. But a lot of big initiatives came out of that thing that have come to fruition today. Here's my most favorite one of the bunch. Make Cumming, Forsyth County, a community of lifelong learning. Establish a university in Cumming and Forsyth County that offers undergraduate and postgraduate courses with degree offerings based on local demands and community needs. One example out of that of Envision 2030 was that idea that we should have a 4-year university right here in Forsyth County. And you know what? We have a really spectacular university right here in Forsyth County today because of that effort. You know, we politicians, there's a sickness with politicians. We get elected, and it sometimes goes to our heads, and we think we're more than we are, and we get a little peacockish sometimes. But the truth is, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, it is a thrill and an honor to get to be here, and I've learned this from James, because I've been able to participate in so many things that so many others have done in this community. Lynn Jackson said to me once, you know, Carter, we're not individuals who just show up and do our thing and then go away. We're really links in a chain that add value on consistent big themes that a community establishes, like establishing a 4-year university. How do we have the very best school system in the state and possibly in the country? How do we make sure we have great infrastructure? And so all those big ideas come out of Envision 2030. And that's what we did as a result of that. And most of those things have come true today. I mean, it's shocking how many of those things. Communities like this don't just happen. We just take it for granted. But if you just sit back and let it happen, you'll just fall into the future. And if you want to look like Buford Highway or, Holcomb Bridge Road, that's probably what you'll get. But if you actually sit down, you spend a lot of time. I'm just one little old guy who's just honored to get to represent y'all at the Capitol. But there's 150 people in this room that are almost interchangeable. Jim Otwell's been getting it done in this community for as long as I've been here 34 years ago. But this chamber, what people don't understand, and made largely because of the efforts of that guy over there, is the glue that binds this community together. It's the glue that binds the school system together with public safety, with public servants, with the city and with the county. And James, his superpower has always been able to get us to play nicely together, even when sometimes we're not that nice. He's been able, and this chamber has been able to help us put a spot way out on the horizon that we can all say, hey, you know what, that is a good thought. Let's go over there. And then when we all get a little crazy and get off base, the Chamber of Commerce will come back in and say, y'all did say you want to go over here. Do y'all still want to go over there? Well, yeah, we do. Okay, good. And then let's play nicer and let's get back together and get going back to that common goal. But Envision 2030 set really great goals for this community. Most of them are out there today and have been accomplished. It's probably time, as you've mentioned to me before, that we probably look at Envision 2050 now, because we're continuing to grow like crazy. I hope that's not a too rambling of an answer.
That's awesome, Carter. Thank you for that, very, very, very much. And you touched on something. Actually, you were part of this pretty recently. All of the elements that make up a community. One of those elements that we are extremely, extremely fortunate to have is a great public library system, and we often take that for granted. And we just had a big leadership change in the Forsyth County Public Library. Anna Lyle just retired last week, in fact, on Friday, a week ago. And bang, as she was also recognized as Georgia's Library Director of the Year. And I know, Carter, you had a big hand in her nomination for that. Anna has led the remarkable growth of a truly world-class library system. Forsyth County Public Library is the busiest library system in the state of Georgia, with the highest per capita circulation in the state. I have had the privilege to get to know Anna both through the chamber and the library, but also through our work together with Mentor Me North Georgia, Rotary, and specifically her role as a trustee in the Georgia Rotary Student Program. Anna is a tireless public servant and is a big part of what has made Forsyth County so special. If y'all will, please join me in thanking Anna Lyle. Where are you, Anna? Oh, please stand up. Yeah. So I am so grateful for all of our guests and leaders that we've had on the program today. We've got to take one more commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I'm Tim McDonald, president of Lanier Technical College, and I just want to say thank you, James McCoy. Thank you for your many years of service, your leadership, your great vision, partnership, and from a personal standpoint, thank you for your friendship. As with many, many of the initiatives and projects that you've worked on in your time as Chamber President and CEO, the one at Lanier Technical College is a prime example of how your impact will be felt for generations to come. Thank you so much for being a champion of Lanier Tech's $6.7 million renovation at our Forsyth campus. That's going to help us upgrade our advanced technology and engineering programs so that we will have a trained and skilled workforce for the high-tech industry in Forsyth County. James McCoy, thank you very much.
All right, ladies, sorry, one more quick second trying to get this last segment ready to go. It is going to be worth it, I promise. So Back to you, James.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. I'm sure this next segment's going to be one for the books. Probably I should say one for the trolls. You'll see what that means in a moment, I'm sure. For those of you who have the pleasure of knowing Lynn Jackson, the CEO of Northside Hospital, you will know how incredibly concerning it is for me right now for her to come lead a segment that we're calling Mean Tweets. But nevertheless, please join me in thanking our title sponsor, Northside Hospital Forsyth, and welcome Lynn Jackson.
Thank you, James. So I'm not going to get my feelings hurt that in all of the accolades that have been mentioned thus far, I don't believe I've heard a word about the hospital, but hey, that's okay. All right, I see how it goes. All right, but it is my pleasure to be here. I don't know why James is worried, right? You know, I think that James McCoy, I want to tell you a little bit about James, so really, before I, get too far into this. James is the president and chief executive officer of the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. And James previously served as the vice president of public policy and communications for the Greater Winston-Salem Chamber of Commerce in North Carolina. And he was also the lobbyist for the American Association of Occupational Health Nurses in Atlanta. That's a 10,000 member national trade organization. Y'all may not have heard of James's time there. James was born in Franklin, North Carolina. He graduated from Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, where he double majored, of course, in politics and communications. After graduating, James was a research analyst for the strategic development at one of North Carolina's largest law firms. He then worked as a campaign manager for a state senate campaign in North Carolina, and then he moved on to an advocacy position at the Winston-Salem Chamber of Commerce, where he found his passion and life's work in the chamber world. Now, keep in mind that all that I just said, at this point, James was only 25 years old. And I guess having not been able to hold a job in North Carolina for very long, James moved to North Metro Atlanta in 2004. He became president and CEO of the Forsyth Chamber of Commerce in 2005. Now, luckily for us, his job tenure here has been enduring. During his tenure with the Chamber, James earned an MBA from the UNG Mike Cottrell College of Business, and he led the Chamber to achieve rapid economic development, business growth, attracting major employers, and supporting local business entrepreneurship and expansion, which in turn fostered, of course, significant job growth in our community. James has always led the way with his outstanding efforts in retaining local businesses and helping them grow and thrive. And workforce development has been a passion for James, and he's been the champion time after time for training programs and partnerships with schools and colleges that challenge the status quo and encouraged good programs to become great. You've heard about some of that today. James has always excelled in community engagement and advocacy, and he's been an outstanding public policy activist, championing policies that benefited business and economic growth and fostering strong relationships between business leaders and local government. He's developed programming to support business collaboration with nonprofits, schools, civic organizations, and he's made efforts to encourage residents to support local businesses. In addition, James has always supported a myriad of events and membership opportunities to successfully engage and mentor the next generation of business leaders. And along the way, James has led and encouraged professional development programs for members, created opportunities for awards and events to honor high-impact local business leaders and spotlight our local heroes. He never forgot to make tourism a priority, because he knew that Mary Helen Magruder would personally exact vengeance upon him if he didn't do a good job in this area. Thankfully, Georgia 400 and the Hospitality Highway gave him lots of opportunity to make Forsyth County a tourist destination and a camera-ready community. In the final count, the tourism programs have generated nearly 50,000 hotel room nights over $8 million in sales tax revenues from visitors to our community. All of this is pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? And that represents the what. But I'd like to look back for just a moment on the why for James. You know, James, growing up in a farming community, it really taught him many valuable lessons that have shaped his life and his career. His first lesson was that he was not meant to work in the fields and raise cattle. He knew office work was going to be his ticket off the farm. But seriously, James has never forgotten his roots, and he lives a life of service to others, believing that collaboration and cooperation are central to success and creating community. To this end, James has served our North Georgia region in way too many avenues for me to delineate fully today, but I'd like to name just a few highlights. James is past president of the Rotary Club of Lanier Forsyth, and he's a Paul Harris Fellow. In addition, he's the chair of the District 6910 Trustees of the Georgia Rotary Student Program. He's a past president of the board for the Forsyth County Arts Alliance, which is a community foundation dedicated to promotion of the arts in our community. James was the first chairman of the board for Mentor Me North Georgia, a nonprofit organization that facilitates mentoring relationships for children in need of positive adult role models. He has volunteered for Mentor Me as a treasurer of the board and as a mentor for Dylan for the last almost 18 years. James served as the board chair for the North Georgia Community Foundation Board of Directors, and his influence has been felt on that board for many years. He's been a member of the board of directors for the Council of Quality Growth since 2020, a board member for the Georgia Chamber of Commerce, and he's an executive committee member of the Regional Business Coalition. On a personal note, I'll share that I have known and admired James for over 20 years, and I can think of no one more witty, more cunning, more kind, more sarcastic, more observant, and most of all, the most stubborn. No one's more stubborn than James. He and I share a very similar sense of humor that causes us both to be in trouble frequently over our errant thoughts and inside jokes. For instance, we laugh like little kids at the mention of manila folders. James knows what I'm talking about. And we have literally traveled together around the world in support of business development, and I'd gladly follow him and join him all over again for the mission and the madness that he brings to his work. I'm a better leader and a better person for having the privilege to work with James, and I count myself fortunate to have watched our little CEO grow up, get gray hair, and make our community so much better day after day. Good luck to James in your next adventures. And now I want to leave you, James, with some hard truths that we've actually been hiding from you all these years. I've named this little segment Mean Tweets. All right, James, here we go. This is from our Internet archives relating to James McCoy. It's been closed up until now. So let's go ahead. Are we at our first one? Okay. Oh, I forgot I have to do my computer myself up here. I thought this was doing some. At Coming Forsyth, Chamber of Commerce, 2005. Your Twitter handle is insufferably long and weird. What's wrong with you people? You probably had to go to North Carolina to find someone willing to work for a chamber with a name like that. At The Real McCoy, 2005. I saw his picture in the newspaper. How old is your CEO? good. Your this one is actually at the Real McCoy 2005. Nothing says suburban growth Suburban growth expert like a chamber CEO. Oh, hold on. I'm in the wrong place. Here we go. I'm with you now. The chamber at the Real McCoy 2005. Sorry. The chamber exec looks like he just got his learner's permit, but sure, let's trust him with the county's economic future. At the Real McCoy, here's a little fundraising tip. Have your new CEO start his own clothing line. You can see there's certainly plenty there for Mac at Day, Mac at Night, Mac at Play. At the Real McCoy 2005, nothing says suburban growth expert like a chamber CEO who gets his clothes made by the church ladies. At the Real McCoy, here's your dude. This is a picture and senior quote from Terry James McCoy from Franklin County High School yearbook. He was voted by his classmates as most likely to become a pompous, arrogant blowhard. His senior quote, "People, they're the worst." Okay. At Lynn, the biker chick, just because it's on the menu doesn't mean you should order it while eating with grown bleep adults. That's James's literal apple spice order. Egg salad and frog eye salad, whatever that is. At the Real McCoy 2008, destined for success, really? But as we can see, maybe he was. At the Real McCoy 2020, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You see, he was a finalist. At the Real McCoy 2021, why do you people keep interviewing a loser? Don't you think you could improve your chances to win by interviewing someone who has actually won Chamber of the Year? At the Real McCoy 2024, wasn't that FOCO CEO previously at the Winston-Salem Chamber 20 years ago? I guess recovery takes a while after his leadership. Good luck, FOCO Chamber, in 2045. As you see, the Greater Winston-Salem Chamber had been named 2024 Chamber of the Year, beating us yet again. At the Real McCoy 2014, you can't take that McCoy guy anywhere without causing a scene. If you know, you know. Let me just tell you, they read this in the paper. Forsyth County Chamber CEO asked to leave the annual Eggs and Issues breakfast due to disruptive behavior. When interviewed, McCoy alleges that he was only listening to a very funny dialogue and was overcome with the urge to laugh like a hyena and caused outrage from the legislators on stage. After a 10-year absence, McCoy was recently spotted at the most recent Eggs and Issues breakfast, sitting alone in forced isolation, really. At Chamber Janitorial Services, found this copy in the CEO wastebasket. What a bleep. From the desk of James McCoy, dear sir, I would like to apply for the position of centerfold model. Enclosed, please find my untouched up, unenhanced, candid photo. I look forward to seeing myself in your magazine. Thank you. Big Diddy McCoy. Did anybody see that issue? At the Real McCoy, hey, FOCO Chamber, here's a little advice for that loser CEO of yours. Get into a business he really understands. Big Mac's Jackass Farm. At the Real McCoy, this guy McCoy sure knows how to bring in new business. Wow, 2 new jobs for 8-year-olds. Hula hoops for nincompoops. James was doing a very good job of showing off the product. At Terry McCoy, it's the way it's supposed to be. A boy doing better than his dad. That's happened when James got his Krispy Kreme gold card. He could get donuts anytime he wanted to. And it came with a hat. James really believes 12 steps to a promotion. At the Real McCoy 2024, Well played, FOCO Chamber. You took cosplay corporate. A big improvement next time would be dress both dudes as Chewbacca. At the real McCoy. When I worked with T.J. McCoy, he tried to motivate us with this poster he made in preschool. He said his mother, at Susie McCoy, knew he was going to be somebody someday. I bet she didn't know that somebody was a big old bully who tried to make everyone work over 6 hours a day with only 5 breaks. WTH. That's actually James in that picture. At Blog Hog, worst board retreat ever. We had to go to certified troll school. Troll in training. See anybody familiar? At the real McCoy, 2024. This is a guy at your chamber who you allowed to lead your economic development efforts that supposedly generated nearly $1 billion in new capital investment and over 10,000 new jobs. Really, FOCO? You can see James makes a pretty good elf. Large, but a good one. At the real McCoy, what does that even mean? Stop trying to make us think. Our region has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to what we've accomplished and what is yet to come. What the heck? At the real McCoy, Mentor Me, North Georgia, thank you for providing us with a second James McCoy. Sorry, Dylan. At the real McCoy, 2024-2025. I feel like I'm living the James McCoy farewell tour. This is an actual quote from LinkedIn, from James's LinkedIn. FOCO Cave. It looks like the next chapter for the FOCO Chamber is straight out of Honey, I Shrunk the Chamber executive. Sorry, Alex, not sorry. At Laura Stewart, 2025. James, this is all your fault. At the Real McCoy Fan Club, 2025. Thank you, James. Best wishes for the future. And we want to give James a big round of applause. Now, while the big guy, our honoree, is making his way to the stage, I'd like to invite all previous board chairs to come up and join me on stage, please. Don't be shy, make your way up here. And I'd also like to introduce to all of you George Perkle. George is a native of Forsyth County, a devoted history buff, and he's a great orator. And George, if you want to join us, I've asked George to come and read a very special quote that is one of James's favorite quotes. And he actually loves it so much he left it as a gift for the chamber staff in their break room. So, George.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, George left early already, and I'm taking his place. My name is James Stewart, and this young man over here that's why I'm here, because his name is James. That's the only reason, only possible reason. But George left something with me here, and he asked me to read this. I think he needs to read it, though, but I will tell you where this comes from. This thing that's in the break room at the chamber is actually an excerpt from a 1910 speech that he gave, not you, no, somebody else gave. Teddy Roosevelt gave this in 1910. You weren't around then, I'm pretty sure. Not even 2000. Oh, God. Good Lord, look at all these people behind me. I gotta hurry up. good news and bad news. The bad news is that the speech this thing came from was 8,776 words long. That was a lot. That's the bad news. The good news is this is only a paragraph that's inserted from it, and it's always been a favorite of James's. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sound like George when I read this. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Thus endeth the lesson. James, congratulations to you.
These are just a few of the people that have supported James and that he has supported over the years as past chamber board chairs. But James, we have a little gift we'd like to give you. Don't look so nervous. Well, I think we have a gift. Here it comes. Here it comes, James. We thought James might be able to start, James, you might be able to start doing some traveling in your new life. And so we thought you might enjoy a nice bag, and don't open it right now for what's inside, and don't open it in front of your parents, and definitely not in front of your Nana, or Dylan, or Emma. The list could go on. Be careful. Anyway, James, we wanted you to have a small token of our appreciation. We could never begin to repay you for everything you've done for all of us. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you, James, to do the final curtain call for this meeting and let you know that all of today has been done in jest to some extent, but also in love and admiration for all you've done for us. So thank you, James.
Thank you. Actually, why don't you all stay? That'd be nice. This is very short, I promise. I have actually thought a long time about what I would say when the time came to say goodbye to the chamber. So those of you who know me, you know that I'm not an artist, and I'm certainly not a poet, and I don't know how best to communicate the feelings that I have about this organization and about this community. So I hope you'll indulge me just a minute more. I mean, y'all have already sat through a fake taping of a fake TV show, so, what's one more thing? So the great Fred Rogers, the Mr. Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, did something when he was speaking at a commencement address or a conference or something, as any big gathering, and he would take his watch off. And he would say, I want all of us to close our eyes for the next minute. And I'm going to time it with my watch. And I want us to all think of someone that had a major influence on your life. Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a family member, a mentor, a coach, or a neighbor. And they may have passed away or for whatever reason are not in your life. Or they may be someone that you see every day. So I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of a minute, we're going to do 30 seconds. And I'm just going to ask that you close your eyes and you think about that person, who that is, and to thank them. Lift them up in your heart and tell them how grateful you are for them. Thank you. So I want you to think about that feeling that you've got in your heart, that feeling of connectedness, of gratefulness, of joy, and of love. And that feeling that you have is the feeling that I have for this organization, for these people, for our chamber team, and for this community. I love you. You've been the greatest part of my life for so long, and I just really can't thank you enough. I appreciate each of you from the very bottom of my heart. So I want you to also, by the way, I want to make sure that we thank our chamber team. So Laura and Jesse are over there. They did this whole thing today. Thank you very much. Thank y'all. So you have a world-class chamber team and those people get up every day, and all they think about is how they can make this community better, your lives better. So while I have been here, I've never really, this came up a moment ago, I've never really thought about myself as a CEO the way many of you may think about a CEO. What I've thought about is being a trustee and someone who was here for a very precious period of time, getting to use the precious resources of this community to try to leave this a little bit better for those who come next, and to make sure it's something that's sustainable and that everybody can continue to enjoy real prosperity. And so I thank all of you for the opportunity that you gave me, that you've entrusted with me for the last 2 decades. Thank you for the grace that you have shown when I had to learn things the hard way, and that was very often. And I appreciate you letting me bumble along to try to achieve something. So thank you for lifting me up, when we lost. Thank you for being there to celebrate when we won something. So many of you in this room, as I look around, have been there with me in some of the happiest moments of my life, and then some of the times when I was experiencing a tragedy or crisis. And I'm excited to get to work with chambers next all over the country and economic development organizations as I jump into something that's in the same space but still new and challenging. I'm also very excited to be able to engage in opportunities that I've been unable to as a chamber employee. Melanie and I love this community. I have no plans to stop doing my part to make this an even better place to live, work, and play. In fact, I have every intention of fighting hard for those values that are at the core of the Chamber's mission and have built this amazing place. There are a few people that were part of the group that was here when I was hired, and they have become part of my family. Lynn and David Jackson, Andy and Janet Walker, Jerry and Pam Bowman, and Mary Helen and John Magruder. And I have learned so much from all of you, and you have become part of the fabric of who I am. I love you, and I thank you. And to my family and my amazing wife, thank you for giving me what every human deserves, but so few get to receive: unconditional love and support. I love you. I just want to close by asking Alex, where are you? Alex, come up on stage for just a minute. So, Lynn stole my joke, by the way. I was going to say, see what a gift I'm giving you, Alex, next year for a theme, because we like to go with movies. So how about Honey, I Shrunk the Chamber President? But that's okay, Lynn. It's all right. That's right. So Alex, I just want to congratulate you first, and to say you will have no bigger champion in this community than me. I believe in you. He is a brilliant, brilliant guy. He has a great heart. He is a person of incredible personal and professional integrity. And I could not be happier for you and proud of you. I am always here when you need me, and call on me anytime. I hope everybody here gets to have a great weekend. Thank you all so much for doing this for me today. I have had a ball, and you all have a great weekend. Kudos, my friend.